live from historic Moore Gymnasium on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach, Florida. Tonight's second broadcast of Bethune-Cookman Athletics on the Cat Eye Network is on the air. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Toretto. Happy once again to have your company on this evening on the east coast of Florida. If you missed the first game of our doubleheader, the BCU Lady Wildcats unfortunately dropped one to the North Florida Ospreys 54-43, and they're still looking for their first win of the season. Now, let's talk basketball for the second time this evening. The BCU Wildcats are 3-4 and coming off a 1-1 split at the multi-team event hosted by Central Arkansas University in Conway, defeating Idaho State 68-66 in overtime and falling just short to Northwestern State, a team that had recently defeated a ranked TCU 66-69. Kevin Davis enjoyed a strong weekend with a double-double Friday night, 31 points and 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and 4 steals. 12 of 21 shooting and 4 of 8 from beyond the arc. On the season, the electric Zion Harmon leads the way with 12 points and 26 assists. Marcus Garrett has grabbed the most boards, 5.3, and Damani McIntyre has continued his strong defensive form from last season with 2.2 steals, 16 overall. After tonight, the Cats head on the road for most of the month of December, traveling to North Florida for the first leg of a home-and-home series, which concludes here at Moore on the 22nd, as well as traveling to the Lone Star State to play Incarnate Word in Dallas and UTSA. Chicago State Cougars come into tonight's game at 2-6, formerly of the Western Athletic Conference. Chi-State is currently a NCAA D1 independent, joining Hartford as the only other Division I program playing an independent schedule during the 2022-23 season. The Cougars are losers of 4 straight, most recently dropping an 82-68 decision to Marquette on November 26th. Guard Wesley Cadet Jr. leads his squad in scoring with 15.4 points a game and 27 total assists. He's shooting 45% from deep this season, and he likes to let it fly. Elijah Weaver and Jashawn Corbett are close behind, both averaging just over 12 points. Watch out for rim protector Bryce Johnson, as his 7 blocks on the season leads the team. The Cougars and Wildcats have met on the basketball court just once before, with Chicago State coming out on top 79-64 back in November of 2008. I'm once again joined by Eric Dennis. Eric, this is going to be an excellent litmus test for Bethune-Cookman. They started out rough against a couple of tough Big Ten teams. They got some momentum against a couple of non-D1 schools, played tough, 2 tough games at the MTE in Arkansas, and now back home against a quality, although the record doesn't show it, team in Chicago State.
Yeah, and this is Chicago State's Super Bowl. Their coach is a Floridian. He and his wife run AAU teams in Florida. That is why their roster is loaded with Florida kids. Their best 2 scorers are from Florida. They have their family here in the stands at Bethune-Cookman University watching this game. They will be up to play against the Wildcats, and we need to rise to the occasion.
10 of the 17 players on the Chicago State roster hail from the Sunshine State. It's going to be tough. I saw a lot of green. Dear goodness, I saw a lot of green and blue in the stands tonight.
Chicago State is known as a teacher's college. They have a really strong education. It's on the far south side of Chicago, 95th Street, I think. They have a beautiful gym, compliments of Emil Jones, a state senator who has controlled that state for many years, got him the money, built him a beautiful 7,000-seat arena, and the program is paying the benefits of that recruiting advantage.
And they've played some tough teams as well. Their 2 wins were against IUPUI and Valparaiso, but they've played Kent State, Marshall, Marquette, Northwestern, some tough teams on their schedule so far this year.
Yeah, anytime you play a Big Ten team, and we've played 2 Big Ten teams so far.
And about to play a 3rd.
We are going to Illinois to take them on, but that's how you get better. Reggie Theus is a super competitor, and he wants his players to play against the best, and he certainly got it on the schedule.
All right, it's time to head down to the floor for player introductions. lineups on the floor. Here they are for you one more time. It's Weaver, Cardette, Green, Corbett, and John Charles for Chicago State. For Bethune-Cookman, it's Harmon, Garrett, Davis, French, and a freshman, Elijah Hulsey, getting the start at center. Dylan Robertson out with illness tonight, as well as Lucas Gudavicius. They're not in the building at all, so it's going to be up to some of our younger front court talent to get the job done.
Elijah's ready. He's been waiting for this opportunity. I'm certain he's going to perform well. He's very skilled, obviously a big man, but he's got skills down low. Great basketball IQ. I'm excited about him playing.
And I was talking to our SID Bryce earlier before this game, and he said he could very well see Elijah working his way into a starting position outright before the end of the season. He's that good.
Yeah, he's an excellent talent. Great recruiting by Coach Pompey to get him in a Wildcat uniform.
Here we go. It'll be Hulsey to jump against Jashawn Corbett. It's the Wildcats in white, trimmed in maroon and gold. It's the Cougars in the navy, trimmed in green and whites. The officials are ready. Oh, we know Moore Gymnasium is ready. It is getting loud in here, as it always does for BCU men's basketball. We're underway, and Hulsey wins the tip. It's tapped back to Marcus Garrett as the Wildcats attack the basket to viewers' right.
Yeah, and you know, Zion's starting tonight as well, so 2 freshmen on the floor for us.
As Zion broke into the starting lineup in Arkansas and has not relinquished it since. Here's Kevin Davis, one of the best returning players from last year. Harmon to Davis, thought about a 3. Tries to work past it inside. Harmon, a floater at the end of the shot clock. Good.
That was a very fortuitous play by Mr. Davis to get Zion the ball just in the nick of time of the shot clock.
Cardette behind the back inside. Pull out to John Charles. And now to their top scorer, Elijah Weaver. Wears number 0. Averages 12.7 points a game. Lets it fly from 3. Hulsey couldn't grab the board. John Charles grabs it, and Hulsey says absolutely not.
Not only did he block the shot, he blocked it off the Chicago State player. Wildcat ball.
You can tell by how the gym reacted that they love this kid as much as we do.
Yes, yes, yes. No doubt about that.
Harmon dribbling it up the floor. Hulsey at the top of the arc gets it back to Zion.
Slice cut and a screen for Joe. No shot available.
No, it's going to be interesting to see how Joe French rebounds from his tough start to the season. The handles from Harmon, but he dribbles into traffic and turns it over. Here's John Charles to the trailing Corbett, and he lays it in, and you wanted to travel.
Yeah, Corbett definitely shuffled his feet, but you know, sometimes the referees miss things. We're at a high advantage, so we actually have a better angle, but that happens sometimes in basketball, doesn't it?
2-2 early. Zion turned the ball over. They give the ball to Joe French, and he would have raised the roof for the 3, but Marcus Garrett flashes through and grabs the rebound, and it looks like they're going to be is either a foul off the ball. There is a foul off the ball. It's going to go against Deshaun John Charles, one of those Florida kids from Liberty City and one of the many Chicago State Cougars that plays at West Oaks Academy, an academy program that was run by the brother of Chicago State coach Gerald Gillen, Kenny Gillen.
There we go. There's that Florida connection.
And it looks like it might be another reach off the ball. So 2 straight Chicago State fouls off the ball.
You know, Chicago State, I noticed in the first couple possessions, they're playing very physical, a lot of elbows, a lot of reaching in, and the referees are going to call it. Let's see if they keep calling that type of physical play.
A team in a hostile environment, and they are not favored. Bethune-Cookman is the favorite here tonight. Nice one-handed grab by Hulsey. He's trapped on the baseline. Hulsey backing down his defender. Hook shot won't go. Davis fighting for the board. He'll stay with the Cats.
Yeah, Hulsey got his feet a little mixed up, didn't have his balance. He still almost made the shot. Did a nice job to keep it up on the glass, keep it alive, out of bounds. Wildcats.
But a good job by Elijah to create the space where it looked like none existed. French got the ball just grabbed from off his hands by Johnson. The other way, it's a 2-hand slam for John Charles.
Yeah, you know, we're facing a very athletic team. They match us athletically. Let's see if we can come back at them and get the lead back.
And that's for another time tonight. We saw it a couple times in the women's game. The shot clock, the horn went off even though the clock reset.
Well, I think the horn went off because the shot clock operator was telling them, hey, the shot clock didn't start. Blow the horn, let them know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're having a little trouble with the shot clock. Let's see if we can get it reset. We had it a couple games ago. I can't remember if it was a men's or women's game we had some issues. We had to turn it off and turn it back on. Then it worked fine, like anything electronic, right?
Just turn it off and turn it back on again. It's an old gym. There's some quirks to it, but we do love more gymnasium.
Sometimes, but that's the only repair I got in my bag, I'll tell you that. Besides calling the help desk, right?
Yeah, well, speaking of repairs, this game was almost played over at our good friends at Embry-Riddle across town because we had some AC issues here at Moore Gymnasium. It was very warm here earlier.
Yes, kudos to Assistant Athletic Director Scott Summer. It's not coincidence that a guy with the last name Summer, although with an O, knows how to fix a hot gym. He has been working so hard to find the part in the United States that we needed for this air conditioning. He got it FedExed or overnighted somehow. He set up the repair guys to work overtime, and we are playing in Moore Gym tonight, all because of the hard work of Assistant Athletic Director Scott Summer.
I got a text from Bryce 2 days ago, and he said, just a heads up, we might be moving the game. And I went, oh, no. But thankfully, we are here in our current broadcasting perch high above the court at Moore Gymnasium. Gerald Gillen, the head coach at Chicago State, a program that started at the NAIA level back in 1966. Only took them 20 years to get to Division I in 1984. They moved up. They've been a part of 4 different conferences since 1984, most recently the Western Athletic Conference from 2013 to 2022, and now playing as a Division I independent.
You know, I was a small college athletic director in Chicago for many years at a school called Robert Morris University that was absorbed by Roosevelt. But because of that experience, Chicago State has a great tradition, athletic and academic tradition. Like I said, it's known as a teacher's college.
Hulsey underneath, can't get it to go. Offensive rebound, will go to the free throw line.
All right, let's find out if this big man can shoot free throws. I think he can. But did you see how the Wildcats took advantage of his size? Nobody matches up with him on Chicago State. Kind of the opposite of what we saw in the women's game. Let's hope it produces the same results for the Wildcats.
The only player that's really close to him height-wise on the Chicago State roster is 6'9", Arol Kachua, the native of South Sudan, but he's only played a couple of minutes this season, so we'll see if he gets in.
Yeah, Hulsey missed the first one. It went in and out. Couldn't go any farther in without counting and coming out.
The Moore Gym rims have not been kind to the Wildcats today. The women had a lot of problems with balls bouncing in and out, but Hulsey hits the second one. It's 4-3 Chicago State in the early going. Wide open in the corner is Johnson, and he misses the three. Boxing out is KJ Davis, but the Cougars get the rebound. Another three is good.
Now, we talked about it pregame. They have 2 players shooting over 40% from the three. They are a three-point shooting team.
And one of those is Elijah Weaver, who just hit one. He's shooting 42% from beyond the arc. 7-3 early Chicago State.
You know, for all you math majors out there, shooting over 40% from the threes is like shooting 60% from 2. It's the equivalent of points.
Harmon with 5 to shoot. Tough shot in traffic. Back iron, no good. John Charles grabs the miss. No, excuse me, that's Johnson. Step back, a miss from 3. An offensive board for Corbett. And Hulsey denies him again. Joe French, catch and shoot off the side of the backboard.
Joe's got to get it going. We talked about that he's having a slow start to this season.
This is an up and down game. Both teams really using that stretch pass, and Johnson can't finish at the rim. Here goes Marcus Garrett flying to the paint, and he'll go to the free throw line.
You know, he's a Chicago native. Now, you would think being a Chicago native, he would know these players from Chicago on Chicago State, but he doesn't because they're all native Floridians.
There's only one player on the Chicago State team that is from the Chicago, Illinois area, and that's Tayon Neal, a sophomore center. who has only scored 4 points this season, so he's unlikely to play, the transfer from Morton College.
You know, we got to make our free throws. You know, we've missed 2, we've shot 3, we've missed 2 out of 3. If he makes this, we'll be 2 out of 4 for the game so far.
All right, so Halsey goes out. He's replaced by Derek Carter Hollinger. So you're taking a 7-footer out of the game, replacing him with a 6'6" forward. So a little bit of a smaller lineup for the Wildcats.
Yeah, we're matching them for size now. Let's see if we can match them for athletic ability and heart. I know we will.
And with Robertson out and less so Gudavicius, it's going to be interesting how our depth matches up with their depth.
Yeah, Robinson is an amazing athlete, isn't he? He really does a great job on the glass, protecting the basket. We're going to miss him tonight.
Hopefully him and Lucas Gudavicius can get back in time for the game against North Florida in 9 days' time. Here's Cardette throwing it up underneath for Kachuel. He is in the game, the 6'9" Sudanian. Backdoor pass for Cardette. It goes out of bounds. It stays with the Cougars.
Yeah, good job of scramble defense that time by the Wildcats. They got him to put the ball on the floor, a little scramble, out of bounds play. Let's go defense.
All right, Kachuel is now the tallest player in the game at 6'9". Fighting through the contact is Cadet, and he scores.
Yeah, these guys are really skilled scorers. Good offensive ability by both those players.
Harmon gonna need to pull some magic out of the hat. That's a long three, misses everything. It'll be Cougar ball. And the shoulders are raised from Reggie Theus as we hit the media timeout.
And you didn't see it, but the defensive player just touched his elbow, and that's why he missed so bad. Referees usually don't see that.
We'll head to the first media timeout of the first half. It's 9-4 Chicago State. You're watching Bethune-Cookman basketball on the Cat Eye Network. Make sure you are representing Bethune-Cookman University Athletics to the fullest. Buy the latest BCU gear online at the Bethune-Cookman online store. Go to bcuathletics.com and click on shop to find the newest BCU clothing and apparel. That's bcuathletics.com and click on shop. Michael Travello, Eric Dennis here for more gymnasium. It's been a cold start shooting the basketball for Bethune-Cookman. 1 of 8 from the floor over the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, we got to pick up the pace on our shots. You know, Chicago State is playing a physical brand of man-to-man defense, and we just have to, quote-unquote, man up and take it.
Cougars with a 5-point lead. Kachuel under the basket. That's a huge mismatch against Garrett, but he hits the underside of the rim. Excuse me, that's McIntyre into the game for the Wildcats. And then he's fouled on the breakout by Kachuel.
McIntyre, the defensive specialist, expert at stealing the ball, stripping offensive players of the ball.
Top 5 of the SWAC in steals last year. He's already up to 16 for the season.
Yeah, he's got a unique skill for that.
He's short, McIntyre, only 6'4", but he's got long arms for his size. Harmon on a give off.
High post split. Here comes Joe French. Back to Harmon.
Harmon struggling to get by Weaver. Low post. Turning and putting it up is Hollinger. And again, it just hangs on the rim and doesn't fall.
Oh, tough break for the Wildcats.
Quickly in transition, here's Corbett under the basket. Kick to the corner. Driving again. Kicking out. Cardette against 2. Gets his own miss fortuitously and is fouled by KJ Davis.
Maybe the foul went, the foul went to number 5.
McIntyre, okay.
Yeah, Davis got the ball clean, but McIntyre, you were blocked. I had a better angle.
Yeah, it's tough. So we already see that Chicago State is going for, it's just drive, kick, drive, kick, drive, kick. That's their whole modus operandi.
Yeah, their offense, they're running a sideline break. They want to push the ball up the floor, get into early offense, and not have to run an offensive set. That's what they're pushing for, and they're really good at it so far tonight. It's led to a 5-point lead so far.
Into the game for the first time is Fahim Miran, Liberty City, Florida, another West Oaks Academy grad, a freshman. And there's been some rotational issues for Chicago State. Only Cardette, Johnson, Davis, and Corbett have appeared in all 8 of their games.
Yeah, but those are the 3 I would want on the floor if I were the head coach of Chicago State.
Harmon, again, he's trying that dribble handoff, almost a weave motion at the top, and there's not letting him get anything.
Yeah, Chicago State is switching on those.
Davis fakes the 3, drives in, lays it in.
There we go. Dribble penetration against that draw and pitch.
Hesitation from Marin. Off the block, and it stays with the Cougars.
Yeah, Marcus had a steal in his hands, but couldn't maintain it, little off balance. Good defensive play by the Wildcats.
And it's going to be really important for the Wildcats now that we know they want to kick to the outside for 3 to not let the Cougars get hot from beyond the arc, because they will shoot you out of the building.
Yeah, they are a very proficient three-point shooting team.
As a team, 32.5% from beyond the arc on the season.
And 33% is like shooting 50% from the 2. So good shooting team.
Nice strip. It's McIntyre again. Another steal. McIntyre coast to coast. The lob! The slam! Oh, Harlinger got up and threw it down. Dribbling through traffic and 1 for Cardette.
Yeah, Cardette is fired up tonight again. I know from seeing the ticket list that they have a lot of family members here to see Chicago State, and he is showing his excitement to play in front of his family.
But I'll talk about that transition offense for BCU. McIntyre, the strip, goes the length of the floor, just has the presence of mind to throw it up there and trust that his guy's going to follow him.
Yeah, right at the end of the play, he got bumped, just a small little bump by Chicago State, which is taught. They have been taught to do that, and then he got a little off balance. He had to throw it up.
2 for 2 from the line, and Chicago State leads 14-8. Harmon gets it back. Have yet to see Zion really take off yet tonight. He's one-on-one.
They are doing everything they can to keep him from going.
Garrett skips through, gets it back after missing, and then KJ Davis is going to be fouled. I can't tell who that was, but somebody went hard over the back. That's Corbett for Chicago State.
And KJ Davis did some very nice sportsmanship. He knew he was going to get fouled, and he moved out of the way to lessen the fall of the young man that went over his back. Good sportsmanship by KJ.
But how about the recovery from Marcus Garrett? He got stripped and then he dove on the ground to get the ball back.
Yeah, that was a nice hustle play by him, but you couldn't expect anything less from that young man. He is all about hustling hard. He gives everything he can every night on the floor for the Wildcats.
Davis 54% from the free throw line this season. That's a little low. He'll want to improve those numbers. And he does with a 2 for 2 adding that time, down to a 4-point lead for the Cougars. John Charles holds. Across to Weaver. Weaver on a pick and roll. Gets it back to Cardette. Cardette, a forearm to the chest of McIntyre. Now a drive and a layup is good from Elijah Weaver.
You know, when you're as good a three-point shooter as he is, you got to respect the 3. We came out, and he went right by the defender and got the layup.
Weaver up to 5 points. That leads all scorers. Kick to the corner for McIntyre. He drives. Harmon for 3. Yes! Zion Harmon is on the board.
Zion Harmon, let's get him going. Let's get him hot.
And it's down to a 3-point game. Nice little crossover move and a shovel to Corbett. That was Cardette.
Chicago State is really aggressive on the dribble attack today.
Cardette falls over, no foul, turns it over. Odd man rush for BCU. McIntyre out to Garrett. He shoots a three, it's short. Davis picks it up, puts it back, gets a miss, and Davis finishes in traffic.
Davis, thank you, Davis.
I love how aggressive he is on the glass, both offensive and defensive.
Yeah, he did a nice job of keeping that play alive.
1 point lead now for Chicago State, 12 minutes to go first half.
So I've seen Chicago State do this where they just...
That was a nice set play, and Cardette was wide open, and Reggie Theus wants a timeout.
So what they do on that is they run a weave and try and lull you to sleep. It doesn't look like they're attacking, but they were, and it worked this time. Reggie's going to talk about it.
Media timeout, we'll take it with them. This is BCU Basketball on the Can-I Network. Back here at Moore Gymnasium, it's a 3-point lead for Chicago State. 18-15 at the under 12 media timeout. Michael Trevillo, Eric Dennis along for the ride with you. And it's been a hot start for KJ Davis. He's got 6 points, but Cardette leads the way with 9 for Chicago State.
Yeah, he's on fire. He's really leading the way, isn't he, with his aggression and his dribble penetration and his basketball IQ, taking what the defense is giving you.
Here comes Garrett. Only 1 point from the free throw line so far tonight for Garrett. French still over. Garrett pull up. That almost looked like it got tipped at the point of release.
Yeah, it was good defense. It did get tipped. Good one-on-one defense.
Open for three is Kendrick Green, and he misses it. He's a native of Atlanta, but he played his high school ball in Florida at Central Point Academy as BCU maintains possession.
Again, I don't know if you noticed, but Garrett went to the floor because of a hard bump by Chicago State. Refs are letting them play tonight. So far, it is an advantage for Chicago State because they're playing the more physical defense.
And that was different than what we saw in the women's game, where there was a lot of hand-checking fouls called and a lot of bumps called fouls.
Yeah, you're right.
Good
point. It was the exact opposite, right? That would have been called a foul in the women's game, which it is.
It all depends on the individual refs, how they see the game, as Garrett finishes through traffic.
You know, that's his game. He's so good at those one-leg runners off the glass, floaters. He's an expert at those. Good move, Garrett.
Now it's time to see how the Wildcats play defensively to try and stop this downhill attack from Chicago State. Weaver with it in the high post. It's Corbett. And back out to Green. Johnson, blocked by Hulse. Oh, they're going to say he moved into his space.
Yeah, he got the ball clean, but his momentum carried him in under the player. And again, another point of emphasis this year by the basketball officials is to call the lower leg foul to protect the jump shooter to avoid twisted ankles and such. And there it was.
And we've seen it in the NBA too. I've seen them call more. They're preventing offensive players from jumping in, causing contact, and drawing fouls.
Yeah, back in the day, if anybody remembers Lloyd World B. Free, who used to jump and spread his legs as the player run by him, and he'd get to the free throw line, and oftentimes make the shot as well.
2-point lead for the Cougars. Here comes Garrett. Hands off to French. McIntyre, space to shoot at the free throw line. Falling away, no, but Garrett goes up and gets it. Back out McIntyre. He tries a three. Off the window, no good. Chicago State, a little bit of a tough control, but they do get into the front court. Open three by the trailing man. Offensive rebound for John Charles. Three on the way again, no. And Carter Hollinger grabs the miss. Both teams gone a little bit cold, both 1 for 4 on their last 5 shots. As we cross the halfway point of this first half, screen from Hulsey. Garrett underneath short. Hulsey battling for the board. It is Cougars ball.
That play never got developed by the Wildcats. Garrett got in there, but maybe should have dribbled it back out or kicked it out for a jumper.
So here's an interesting tactical move from Chicago State. They brought in Kachul, their big guy, as Hulsey came back in.
I like that matchup in our favor.
There was about 2 minutes where Hulsey was on the floor by himself without a true big man to guard him. And unfortunately, he couldn't cash him with any points. Hulsey, 1 point, 0 for 2 from the floor, 1 for 2 from the line.
Yeah, they're going to pull him out.
Deflected pass. Kachul grabs it, and it's stolen away by guess who? Damani McIntyre.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. He's an expert.
McIntyre stops, kicks, French drives. Turns to the free throw line and hands it back to Harmon. Now Zion floats it up, tried to get it to Hulsey, and it was just over the reach of the 7-footer.
Yeah, little timing issue there. Great play, though.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Wildcats go back to that later on in the game. Here's John Charles.
They're going right at Hulsey, trying to get a little high-low action off the pick and roll.
Diving in is Garrett, who gets the steal.
McIntyre.
No, McIntyre again. They do look kind of similar, Garrett and McIntyre. Harmon double-teamed and fouled.
Smart play by Zion to get the guy off his feet, draw the foul, and get to the line.
One of the things I heard somebody say about Zion Harmon and all the fancy dribbling and the shooting from outside, it looks effortless the way he moves with the ball.
Yeah, he is. He's been doing that his whole life. He's very skilled in that manner, and it complements his game at the college level very well.
Mick gets it first free throw to go off the front of the rim as Hulsey comes out for Davis, and I think we're going to see Davis play the 5 here. We saw that a little bit last year after Robertson went down with a season-ending injury in the beginning of February.
Yeah, we need some size, but we match up right now. We match up height for height. Let's see how it goes.
Tie game, 19-19.
Chicago State with a clear out and a side pick and roll.
Trying to get some space for an outside shooter. Here is Davis of the Brent variety for Chicago State. Hands back to Cardette. Switched on to Carter Hollinger. Screen and fire and off the glass. It's no good, and Davis is right there. Quick hands to grab the ball. It was rolling out of play.
His reaction to keep that ball from going out of bounds was amazing.
Harmon just drives and puts it up and misses with the up and under.
Yeah, he should have got the foul on that, got to the line.
Oh, and look, a little bit of a slip from Green. Couldn't get cleanly to the basket. Kick out for 3. John Charles missed everything. Green with an offensive rebound to keep the play alive for the Cougars. Another 3 on the way. Back iron no good. Long rebound. Harmon comes for it, and it's BCU ball.
Yeah, very physical game. A lot of bodies on the floor tonight. Let's go Wildcats. 19-19. 8 minutes left in the half.
Oh, they're going to call a foul, actually, on Deshaun John Charles as he pushed Zion into his own bench.
Yeah, I missed that by the referee. Henceforth, my comment about it's a physical game.
And also, you mentioned it's a physical game. BCU already in the single bonus.
Yeah, 8 minutes to go. Let's take advantage of that.
And he hits the front end of a one-on-one. There is no worse feeling in the game of basketball.
From the free throw line?
I'll tell you that in a minute. But there's no worse feeling than missing the front end of a one-on-one.
Oh, it's a wasted opportunity, isn't it?
He's got 68% from the free throw line today, this season, Zion Hart.
It's missing the front end of a one-on-one is like going to Publix and you buy the Publix tee and it's a BOGO get one free and you walk out with only one.
That's a Florida reference if I've ever heard one. Caudette into the corner for Green. Green double team. That leaves Caudette wide open and he lays it in.
That was a nice play, nice action, something that Chicago State has worked on all season, and it worked against the Wildcat defense that time.
And that's happened a couple times where BCU's brought a hard double team up top and leaves somebody wide open underneath.
Yeah, that's the first time that Chicago State was able to take advantage of it and score.
23-21. I know the scoreboard reads 23-19. That is incorrect. Pass too tall for Carter Hollinger from Davis. Chicago State with a rush. And a putback one-arm throw at no.
Yeah, offensive pass or goal.
Offensive pass interference. You went with the football reference earlier. Now you're doing it accidentally.
Offensive goal interference. In Europe, that's a legal play. After it hits the rim, you can slam it back home, but not here in the good old USA.
So this is a rule that you don't see very often. So if the ball is still touching the rim, you cannot grab it.
Or in the invisible cylinder straight above the rim, if any part of the ball, like a strike zone, any part of the ball over any part of the plate is a strike. If any part of the ball is over any part of the rim, no matter how high, and you touch it, it is an illegal play. The ball goes to the defense.
All right, we'll take a quick break and be right back. It's a tie ball game, a tight ball game here at Moore Gymnasium. This is BCU Athletics on the Cat Eye Network. Make sure to stay tuned at halftime as we will have Nyara Hightower of the BCU women's volleyball team on the air for a quick interview to talk about the volleyball season, her season, Coach Williams hitting a big milestone, and the future of BCU women's volleyball. That's coming up at the half. And as we get back to play here at Moore Gymnasium, it is a packed house, and KJ Davis just got bowled over by Caudette.
Yeah, he got fouled hard. He went down hard, and it looks like he's limping a little bit. He landed hard on his hip, and he is a little bit limp, but he's a tough kid. Tough young man, I should say.
Yeah.
But he does go to the line.
But yeah, we were talking about it during the break. This place is filled up nicely over the first couple of minutes of this game, and it's a pretty full house.
You know, if you've never been to a game here in Moore Gymnasium, we got the DJ going, we got the cheerleaders pumping, we got the crowd dancing in the stands. It is a live college atmosphere, a great place to see a game.
And when we get into January and conference play, we'll have the pep band in here as well, making all sorts of noise. It's a fantastic time.
You know, in a good part of the show, Royce Reed practices her cheerleaders. They do a great job of providing pep and spunk to the crowd and to our players.
2-2 from the line that time for Davis as BCU takes the lead again. 23-21 the score. 7 minutes to go first half. Here's Weaver. He's only made one basket. Nice little touch pass to Corbett, and he is fouled. It's going to go on the floor. That's one of the great things that Bethune-Cookman has done in this first half, only 4 fouls.
Yeah. They've done a nice job of defending, helping defense, and stopping that dribble penetration of the Cougars.
Meanwhile, 9 fouls for Chicago State, 1 foul away from the double bonus for BCU. Corbett, offensive foul called.
That is brilliant by us. He got the foul call on him. He came right back at him and said, hey, I'm going to get the foul on you next, and gave up his body and did it.
That was DJ Carter Hollinger who had that above-the-rim dunk earlier that got this crowd on its feet. BCU with another defensive stop. Here's a guy that needs some heat in his hands, Joe French. He hands to Harmon.
Yeah, teams are really keying in on Joe this year, trying to keep him from getting going.
He is the preseason SWAC Offensive Player of the Year. Kevin Davis, a sweet flick of the wrist from the baseline.
Nice escape dribble, 1 dribble, stop and pop, 2 points.
John Charles spinning away his Cardette, and he got the ball stripped, but they're going to say he got hit on the wrist.
Yeah, Kevin Davis got him just a little bit, just enough for the referee to call the foul.
And they're going to say he was in the act of shooting, so John Charles will go to the line. He's a 72% free throw shooter on the season.
Yeah, you know, from a shooting standpoint, Chicago State does everything well. Free throws, 3-pointers, they're a quality shooting team.
I already mentioned 32%, just under 33 from three-point range, 41% from the floor. But I think that is a result of them being a little bit undersized and them playing some teams that have a lot of size like Northwestern.
Even though it's 41%, it's the result of shooting a lot of threes. They shoot a lot of threes. So again, if you shoot 33% from threes, that is equal to 50% from two-point land. If you shoot 60% from if you shoot 40%, that's equal to 60% twos, which is unheard of. Players haven't done that very much since the likes of Will Chamberlain, Russell, and very few others have shot 60% for a season.
And that's why you've seen the
Shaquille
major
O'Neal
change in the way that basketball is played over the past decade and a half or so. I mean, if you go back to the year 2000, you couldn't imagine a player like Steph Curry existing in that world, but in the day of 5-out small ball basketball where the main goal is to get open threes, and it's totally changed the game.
Yeah, and it's working for a lot of teams, I'll tell you.
Well, there's a little bit of old-fashioned post-up basketball by Elijah Hulsey.
Hulsey, you can't guard me. And he delivers.
And he's up against Kachul, who's not a small man at 6'9".
Yeah, but really nice footwork. Showed his skill a lot on that play. Shows he's been well coached.
Now Kachul trying to do the opposite. Kick out well away from Green. He recovers it before it goes over the end line.
Shot clock down to 5.
Green shovels it under Kachul. Misses at the rim. It stays alive for Chicago State. Johnson with the board. Nobody was there to close out Weaver, but he misses the 3. A third opportunity for the Cougars now with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, those long rebounds.
Weaver threw it off of Davis's face, and it's a turnover.
Yeah, that was a good play to get his face in the way.
McIntyre, offensive foul.
Yeah, sometimes that Euro step, he didn't do it early enough to get around the defense, and it wound up being an offensive charge. Good idea. Just a little too late on the Euro step. 1
charge per team now. But BCU has played better in the last couple of minutes. They have a 27-23 lead. But if you're a coach, especially a coach like Reggie Theus that likes to get animated, you are not happy with that triple possession for Chicago State last time down the floor.
No, he'll definitely bring that one up at halftime and point that out as a flaw in the first half.
Here's Davis for Chicago State, hands to Corbett. Corbett on a drive, guarded by Hulsey. Nice job by Hulsey to swallow him up, force the kick out to Johnson. Cardette thought about a 3, drives, gets fouled. It's so hard to guard someone who just gets downhill that fast. And Hulsey's saying, well, what else could I do? But
yeah, he's the Chicago State players got that little hesitation, go, so it keeps you off balance on defense.
And they were practicing that pregame. I was down on the floor watching the Cougars warm up, and that's what they were doing in their layup lines. It was hesitation, go, around a screen, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the best at that is James Harden in the NBA. He is amazing at making you think he's going by and he stops, then you stop with him, then he goes by again, right? And it results in good offensive, good opportunities, good results for the offensive team.
Halsey picks up his second foul, so Carter Hollinger comes back in.
Yeah, I like what Reggie's doing to save him from getting his third foul.
The Wildcats have only fielded 7 players so far in this first half.
1-2-2 half-court trap. Let's see. Yep.
Nice bullet pass from Davis to Garrett to get over the line.
Chicago State a little confused. Are they in zone? Are they in man? The coach yells out zone. They're in a 3-2 zone.
With Chicago State in the double bonus territory, I'd love to see Bethune-Cookman drive a little bit and try and get to the line.
Yeah, they're going zone and then man at the end of the shot
Davis
clock.
catch and shoot 3. It falls right to DJ Carter Hollinger. Backdoor, Davis. Oh, he can fly! He can fly!
Yeah, nice hustle, nice shot. Good offense. Let's go Wildcats.
That's the second big-time slam we've seen. One from Hollinger, one from KJ Davis. Bump to the shoulder of Harmon from Brent Davis. Brent circles around, underneath it goes, and the ball is dribbled on the baseline by Cardette. He couldn't keep it, and Cardette wants a foul, but he's not going to get it as we hit the under 4 immediate timeout. We'll go to break one more time before the half. Bethune-Cookman starting to exert their pressure on the Chicago State team, up by 5 on the Cat Eye Network. Wildcat Nation, you can catch all BCU home games live on the Cat Eye Network. Be sure to tune in for the best of BCU volleyball, basketball, and more throughout the season. Catch it all live on youtube.com/Cat Eye Network.
Hey, Michael, what do you got? Who's your special guest here at halftime tonight?
It is Mayara Hightower of the Bethune-Cookman volleyball team. That had a great end of the season, made it all the way to the SWAC semifinals, upset a couple of teams in the SWAC tournament. So we're going to talk all about that and about a big season for BCU basketball, for volleyball, and the future of this volleyball program.
And we're going to honor their only senior, right?
Yeah, Aaliyah Dallas will be honored at halftime as well. Harmon. Hollinger backing down. Davis throws it back to nobody in particular, and it's a turnover.
Yeah, he should have kept that.
Down the lane, and a nice find. Deshaun Corbett with the left hand lays it in. Native of the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah, Cougars got a nice run out on that. Wildcats did not get back.
We've seen scoring in bursts from Bethune-Cookman, but it's not been sustained. This man on the ball can change it. French. So can Harmon. Floater, just barely missed it. And it's an offensive putback, and it's out of bounds. It'll stay with Bethune-Cookman. And Garrett looked at the referee like, what do I got to do to get to the line?
I'm surprised his arm is still attached to his body. That was such a hard foul. Oh, there we go.
They did call it. They did call it eventually. I guess it was the referee behind the play that called it. I was looking at the referee on the baseline.
Yeah. He didn't have a good look, but they got the right call, right?
No, they didn't.
Oh, they just said, no, I don't know what they.
I don't know what they called. They went to the
right.
bench and motion. They went to the table and motioned like they were calling a foul, but no, it's just a side out.
Right. 18 seconds on the clock.
Long pass in, finds Carter Hollinger. French still 0 for the game. He dances. Davis drives through, kicks. Hollinger fouled, and this time they will go to the line.
Let me tell you, when the Cougars foul you, they foul you. There's no mistaking, right?
There's going to be some bruises on some Wildcat players tomorrow morning.
Yeah, the trainers will get some extra work tomorrow, right? Some cold dips and hot baths and hot showers.
So as a coach, and you see a team playing this really, I'm not going to say violent, a physical style of defense, and they're fouling and playing extra contact. How do you combat that as a coach?
It's really very difficult. You know, the one way to do is to bring the defense out when they're that aggressive, and it opens up the floor. But other than that, the players just have to be stronger, and that's the game now, right? That's the American game. You have to be strong with the ball.
And it's all the hours you put in off the court, in the weight room and in your strength training and in the gym, getting your extra shots up and extra practice, and that'll show against a team like this.
Yes.
Extra pass, Cardette tries to drive into a double team, kicks all the way across to Weaver. Weaver baseline. Cardette open for three, back iron no good. Davis with the excellent box out at the end of the shot clock.
Oh.
Green almost took that away from Harmon. Zion at the free throw line dances, goes up off the glass and no, and they'll stay with the Wildcats as it was off Cardette and out.
Again, we talked about it earlier, the stop and go. Zion used it to his advantage. He stopped at the free throw line. Defense came up on him. He goes by, just missed the layup opportunity because he was well guarded.
Coach Theus calls a timeout. We'll keep it right here with only 1:48 to go. This is the first of 9 games in the month of December for Chicago State. They are on the road for 8 of them. After this, they're home against Southern Indiana on the 4th.
Where I played college ball, by the way, Southern Indiana, and they have gone Division I this year. Usually a Division II powerhouse, now a Division I, brand new program to Division I.
Then they got at Tennessee Martin, at Murray State, at Southern Illinois, at Illinois State, at Minnesota, at Ball State, at Ohio, all in the month of December.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to get some games in December, why not go all out, right?
I guess. That's a long road trip, though. And they're not, spread out. They're back-to-back. The 11th, the 13th, the 16th, the 19th.
I wonder why they're doing that. Maybe that's just how the schedule worked out. I don't think there's any reason like the circus comes to town in the NBA, or, there's, I forget what team that is that they're on the road for 12 straight games or something.
Harlem Globetrotters?
Yeah.
No, what I think it is that because Chicago State doesn't have a conference, they have to front load their schedule when the non-conference games are.
Good point.
Because once all these teams start playing conference games, they don't have open room in their schedule to schedule a team like Chicago State. Fade away from
Joe French.
Joe French misses again. Oh, and they're going to call French for the reach-in as well.
Yeah. Defense was back, though. Nice. The Wildcats got back. They were prepared, but just a reach-in caught by the official gives them 2 free throws.
And Joe French, obviously very highly touted, SWAC preseason offensive player of the year. But he has had a rough start to the season, shooting under 20% from the field.
Yeah, he is. Every team that we play knows who Joe French is, and they are up on him. They are double teaming him, and he will eventually get his because he's just too good a player.
And I think that's because he was so good last year, top 10 nationally in three-point percentage.
Yeah, he can really shoot the ball.
And we saw it. We saw French single-handedly carry the Wildcats to a couple of wins here last year, specifically against Prairie View A&M. Late in the season, as the Wildcats bid to make the SWAC tournament in their first year of the conference fell just short.
Shot clock down to 5.
5 seconds left for French. He skips, he drives, he hands it to Hollinger at the shot clock. DJ gets it back, Davis fouls. And it's going to go against Cardette, who leads all scorers with 14 points, but I think that's his third personal foul.
Yeah. So that may help us a little bit as the game goes on.
Both teams cold. Chicago State won for their last 5. BCU won for their last 7 from the floor. And that free throw by Davis breaks a almost 2-minute scoring drought for BCU.
Yeah, we needed that. We're up 4, less than a minute left in the game, 57.7 seconds left in the first half.
The way that Chicago State is deploying this zone defensively reminds me of the first game with UNF. And once again, BCU has struggled to find a way to penetrate the zone.
And they're being very clever where they're giving you a zone look, and then at a certain point in the shot clock, they're switching to man.
Under a minute to go in the first half. 33-28, BCU holds a slim lead in another defensive game. Weaver open for 3, bricked it, and the rebound comes down to Garrett. Pushing the pace. Davis, a 3 in the corner, no. French gets the rebound, lets the defender go up and over, and then it's swatted by Weaver, coming back to make the block.
Joe did a nice job in the right place at the right time to get that offensive rebound. Gives the Wildcats a second opportunity here with 36 seconds left in the first half.
Now, do you go fast and try and get a bucket within the next 6 seconds? You potentially go 2 for 1. Or do you let it run down and then play defense?
From Chicago State, Chicago State's going to go 2 for 1 if they get the ball back. They don't hesitate.
French fires, and finally Joe French is off the mark with a 3 and pushes the BCU lead.
How do you say
to 8?
How do you say 3 in French?
Trois. Looks like a travel is a travel. Extra step taken by Kendrick Green.
All right. Wildcats get another opportunity here at the end of the half. Let's see if we can take advantage of it.
16.2, and I think I just heard Reggie Thea say one shot. Don't let them get back down the floor even if we don't get something. We're up by 8.
That's Coach Theus's many years of playing and coaching experience. Smart move.
Harmon, ISO ball against Brent Davis. Harmon pulls up. Oh, it blows the roof off the joint at the horn at the end of the first half. And it's an 11-point BCU lead heading into the locker room. Oh, my goodness.
That was brilliant by Zion Harmon. Now, that's the only time all night we've seen where the Chicago State defense backed off and gave him the room, right?
Yeah, and that whole possession was going to be ISO for Harmon all the way. All the way. They were never going to pass. He was never going to pass the ball. And yet they still sagged off him and let him have room to just walk to the corner and take a 3.
And as the ball is in the air, all zeros on the game clock. 3 points. Let's go Wildcat.
I was watching the fans behind where he took that shot from the corner stand up as the ball was in the air, and then they just went nuts when it came in. We're going to take about a 30-second break to reset here, and when we come back, it'll be Niara Hightower on the Cat Eye Network talking all things BCU volleyball. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Welcome back to more Gymnasium. It's the BCU Wildcats with a 39-28 lead over the Chicago State Cougars here at halftime. We have a special guest, Nyara Hightower of the BCU volleyball team. We just had a nice ceremony for Aaliyah Dallas, the only graduating senior on this volleyball team. BCU volleyball finished with 9 wins this season, made the semifinals of the SWAC tournament, and a whole host of other accolades. Nyara, how did you feel the season went for you?
Me personally, I felt that the season was a success. It started off really rocky. We had a lot of losses, in a row. It was hard coming in. We were still that young team, a lot of young people on the team, who hadn't been playing, haven't had that much experience at this level, playing like this. But, it was something about in the middle of the season where we just really turned it around. It was really beautiful to see, and we were going through a lot of hardships and trials and tribulations all together, and I just thought that made us a lot, we came a lot closer, and, I think that's what really changed around. We just started, having wins, left and right. They were coming in real crazy, so.
You talk about adversity. The SWAC conference slate is such a grind because you don't get many home games. They do a lot of what they call pool play, where they gather a bunch of teams in one location. You play 4 games over a weekend. You only played 3 games here at Moore Gymnasium this season because of the hurricanes and because of the schedule. Tell me about some of the difficulties of being on the road that long.
Okay, yeah. Being on the road that long is really, really crazy and hectic. It's very hard. It takes a toll on your mental because, you're always a student first. You have to think about books and you have to, still be studious on the road. It's pretty hard. It gets tough out there. But, I will say it does bring a team together. We are some of the closest girls that you will meet on this volleyball team because, we just spend so much time together. So, those trips where we had to turn around and we had to just get back on the road right after coming back to Bethune was like, well, here we go again, one of those things. So.
Yeah, and you really turned it on to the end of the season, won 5 of your last 8 games, rallied to make the SWAC tournament, upset Grambling State in the first round, got to the semifinals, and on the way gave Coach Williams her 75th win, putting her at most all-time in BCU history. What was that moment like?
That moment was so beautiful for us. We were very excited for our coach. She's been working so very hard. We were all coming up with a plan. Well, she was coming up with the plan, and we were all going along with it, just putting our trust in her. She had us going way more fast-paced. She said, we're going to kick this up a notch, and we just started winning, and we were going to buy all in, and we were like, okay, you give us the tools and we're going to use them, and we did, and it was really beautiful to see her actually get that,
We just saw the ceremony before we jumped on the broadcast. Aaliyah Dallas, the only senior on this team, being honored at center court because we missed senior day because of the hurricane. What has Aaliyah meant to this team as a leader?
Aaliyah as a leader has meant the most, the utmost for us. We're just really happy to have her. I know me personally. She's not only just my captain like everyone else, but she's also the captain of my position group as a middle. And she actually, this season was hurt for a little while, at the Mississippi Valley game. She got hurt, and I had to go in for her and fill in her spot. And one thing about Aaliyah is she will always be there for you. When I stepped off that court, it was like she was the first person that would take me into her wing and just, give me all the advice that I needed, and it's real easy taking advice from her being so successful like she is in her career, and all the accolades that she just got at her, beautiful ceremony. It's really good to have, moments like these at your own court because, we're never here, really. We only had 3 home games, so, it's just really great to have everybody, be able to acknowledge Aaliyah and give her the congrats that she deserves.
All right, one more question. With all the momentum at the end of the season, you rally to make the tournament, and you have a young team, only 1 senior. What is the future of BCU volleyball going to look like over the next couple of years?
Well, I'll tell you, the future of BCU volleyball is going to be something crazy because, we all came in kind of, super young and in clusters. So us just losing 1 senior, and of course that's going to be a big loss for us. We love Aaliyah, and she did her thing, but she's only helped the people under her, and we've only been getting better. So us coming in and having a big group of juniors and a big group of seniors, and, we're just getting older as the day goes, and we're only learning more. So we're coming more aggressive this next year, and we're coming faster and, harder.
I can't wait to see what the future of this BCU volleyball program holds. Thank you, Nayara Hightower, joining us from BCU Volleyball. It's again 39-28 BCU over Chicago State at the half. When we come back, it's the second half between the Cougars and the Wildcats right here on the Cat Eye Network. Welcome back, Michael Trevino, Eric Davis. Thank you again to Nayara Hightower for jumping on to talk all things BCU volleyball with us at the half, but our attention shifts back to the hardwood as BCU holds a 39-28 lead at the half, courtesy of a 10-2 run over the last 3 minutes of the first half, and it finally felt like the lid got pulled off the basket.
Yeah, Coach Theus insists on certain things from his players. Tonight, it's help defense because the good scouting by his coaches and by him, they know Chicago State is going to draw and pitch and dribble penetrate and then draw and pitch and dribble penetrate again. And let me tell you, from a player standpoint, that is hard to defend. But the Wildcats did a good job this first half. They got to continue the second half to defend that because Chicago State has some players who can play.
BCU has only sent 7 men to the floor this evening, and again, a little undermanned because Dylan Robertson and Lucas Gudovicius both out with illness tonight. CSU, only 5 of their players have scored. Weaver with 7, Cardette with 14, John Charles 2, Johnson 1, and Corbett 4. The Cougars from Chicago State start with the ball. They wear the all-blue trimmed in green. They attack the basket to listeners' right. Wildcats wear the home white with maroon and gold, and they go the other way.
And Chicago State starts in a zone defense.
Wow. Weaver with a wild shot from the elbow that misses, and Hulsey grabs the miss. Both teams look like they're in the same starting 5 that they had at the beginning of the first half.
Yeah, and that zone defense to start the half by the Wildcats throws Chicago State a little out of rhythm. Let's hope that keeps going.
Marcus Garrett's high at the wing. Hulsey in a position that he not usually is in and turns the ball over. Green, bounce pass to Corbett, and he lays it in.
Yeah, tough start to the half by the Wildcats to turn it over. It leads to 2 points. Still a 9-point lead.
Change from Chicago State. They're really pressing BCU high on the wings.
Yeah, they're coming out and putting the pressure defense all over the Wildcats, but the Wildcats will respond. They got some tricks up their sleeves too.
Their top scorer, Wesley Cardette from Fort Lauderdale, a transfer from Samford. And he followed his coach because Gerald Gillen, before he got the job at Chicago State, was an assistant at Samford.
Yeah, those relationships are built during the recruiting process.
Harmon dribbles, falls away off the front of the rim, no good. Hulsey can't pull down the miss. Corbett, long shovel pass ahead. Green under the basket for Wesley. And whistle and a stoppage of play. And it looks like Marcus Garrett's yapping at the referee, but no, they're going to get Hulsey with a foul.
Yeah, for the way they've been playing in the first half, to call that little bit of a touch is unusual.
Well, the referees, they talk at halftime too. Maybe they change things. 3 is good from Wesley Cardette.
Yeah, they're starting off with a 5-0 run against the Wildcats, closing the lead.
And they've closed the gap to 4. It was 9 at the break. BCU still have to get off the mark offensively, struggling against this high 2-man press. Spearheaded by Kendrick Green at the moment.
Yeah, Chicago State is up and under on the
Harmon
defense.
with 7. Harmon around to the lane. Hulsey trying to find it. He does eventually. Trapped in the corner is Harmon. He gets it to Garrett. Hulsey, no, off the rim, and it's going to be Chicago State ball.
When Hulsey went up, he wasn't sure if he was going to dunk it or lay it in, and he got neither.
I think Harmon comes out for the first time tonight. He's replaced by Derek Carter Hollinger. Oh, no, that's Hulsey who comes out. Harmon also came out. I only saw one change, but Harmon is not on the floor anymore.
Smart play by Marcus Garrett that time. The defense was anticipating a bump. The offense was anticipating a bump, but he just backed away and he fell down out of bounds.
9th turnover for Chicago State. Only 6 turnovers in the first half for Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, good job of taking care of the ball by the Wildcats.
BCU averaging 12 turnovers a game. Letting it fly and hitting is Joe French. He hits his second 3 of the night.
Let's keep that going. Good assist from Hollinger, too.
Weaver trapped. Green. Back out high to Corbett. He doesn't shoot the 3s, but this man does. Whistle and a foul. They're going to get Carter Hollinger off the ball for a grab.
This is kind of typical what we're seeing now. The referees let them play one half, and then they tighten up the second. But as a former coach and player, I just wish they would be consistent throughout the game. Doesn't matter which way, just be consistent.
Well, I think if they're going to tighten it up and call stuff like that, it eventually favors Bethune-Cookman because of Chicago State's physical style that they like to run.
I agree.
And another whistle, and they're going to get an offensive foul against Kendrick Green.
You couldn't have been more obvious than that. He was doing what he was taught in practice, working through the play. but you just can't do that curl tight and bump the guy off the screen like that. It's not legal.
Something we haven't seen yet in either of our games is a moving screen. I saw that called a lot during the 2 tournaments I worked at the Ocean Center last week. Carter Hollinger, nice feed, backdoor, and Garrett cleans it up.
So the Wildcats put a little bit of their own medicine on the Cougars with the double penetration, and it results in the layup.
Weaver goes fast, gets to the paint, and draws the foul. It was a vicious swat by K.J. Davis on the back end, but they will go to the line.
Was the foul on Joe?
It has not come across my stats yet, and I didn't see what the referee called. It could be on anybody.
I think it was on Joe French. I'm not sure.
First one up and good for Elijah Weaver, a native of Cocoa, Florida. Played all over the place in high school. The Florida Air Academy over in Tampa, Oldsmar Christian, and then eventually Rockledge is where he ended up. Got a state title with Oldsmar Christian his junior year. Played his first couple college seasons at Dayton and then transferred to Chicago State.
Yeah, great program, Dayton Flyers, great arena, great city, good atmosphere, great college.
Nice crossover by McIntyre. Double kick, French gets his defender in the air. Euro step, and it hangs on the rim and falls.
Yeah, you got to make those. You got to put those in.
Garrett hounding Cardette, but can't force him off the ball. Approaching the first media timeout of the first half, BCU up by 9. Weaver falling away, missing. And the long arms of Kevin Davis. Grab it. Davis on the other end, putting it up and in off the pick and roll.
Nice foot runner penetration. 2 points, Wildcats. Thank you, Kevin Davis.
Davis is playing out of his shoes the last couple of days. He's up to 14 points and had 21 against Northwestern State. That's my memory. I'll double check that. I have it written down at the next stoppage. Drive and an offensive foul against Deshaun John Charles.
And it looked like Joe got his leg landed on, but he's okay. He's limping a little bit. Joe French, he should be okay though. 2
substitutions for Chicago State. Bryce Johnson, who leads their team in blocks with 7, comes into the game, as well as Brent Davis. Johnson, one of the few players on the Chicago State team with with no connection to Florida. He grew up in Texas but played his postgraduate ball at Lake Nona in Orlando. So French thought about a 3, decides to get his defender on skates, step back, and man, Joe French can't buy a bucket right now.
Tough break, in and out.
In transition, Cardette pulls up and misses from beyond the arc. Transition for French, and a football pass comes a little bit short, intercepted by Davis, and a thought about the slam did Johnson, but he eventually just lays it up and in. And almost a steal, as I can't see who that is over there. I think it's Tayon Neal. No, it's Brent Davis was hounding Marcus Garrett and eventually tapped it out of bounds. It'll be Wildcat ball when we come back on the other side of this media timeout. BCU trying desperately to get away from Chicago State, but the Cougars staying right there. It's Wildcats 46, Chicago State 37. We'll be right back on the Cat Eye Network. Wildcat fans, BCU men's basketball returns to Moore Gymnasium one more time in 2022, January 22nd at 2 p.m. as the Wildcats host the University of North Florida. Tickets start at just $15. Come on out and support your Wildcats or catch it all live on the Cat Eye Network. We'll be there to call all the action from our perch up here in the corner at Moore Gymnasium. Wildcats with a 9-point lead as Damani McIntyre brings the ball into the front court.
Boy, the Wildcats are really looking for something. Here we go. Triple screen.
McIntyre doesn't want to shoot. French does, though, and he hits it again. He's third of the night.
I think his leg is okay. During the timeout, we were talking about during that charge on Chicago State, somebody fell on his leg, the Chicago State player, but Joe looks like he shook it off by now.
Tristan Arnaud is into the ball game for the first time for Chicago State. He wears number 13. And I believe the Chicago State player stepped on the baseline before contact, so it'll be BCU ball.
Yeah, and he was out of control from the beginning on his drive. Again, but good defense because he went into the offense trying to create, went into the defense as an offensive player trying to create contact, but we backed away and it got him off balance. He stepped out of bounds.
11th turnover of the game for Chicago State. It's been a mostly clean game from that perspective. BCU only turned the ball over 12 times. These teams average 12 for BCU and 15 for Chicago State.
So here comes that same play. They're
Harmon
running that same play.
And then well defended by Chicago State. Backdoor pass underneath, skipping, putting it up, and scoring is DJ Carter Hollinger.
Nice assist from Zion Harmon to make it all happen.
Long kick out, 3 on the way and good, and the duck is broken for Chicago State.
Yeah, nice penetration by their player to get the 3. That was a long 3.
It was Bryce Johnson that shot it and made it.
And that was from way downtown.
Somebody from the Chicago State bench just ran on the floor and fixed the net as it was knocked off. Harmon, baseline, blocking foul, and a bucket, and one for the big man.
Little things make a big difference in basketball. Zion, on his drive, noticed that the defense was going to take the charge, just changed his angle a little bit to turn it into a 3-point play opportunity.
You say little things make big differences. Zion, the shortest guy on the team at 6 foot even.
Yeah, but he's got some skills, doesn't he?
Yeah. The one thing we haven't seen him do is throw it down, and I'm sure he could do that too.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. You know, that would be a lot of fun. I'm sure the crowd would react very well too.
So last year, I think it was my first or second game here for BCU. It was a men's game, I think against Johnson University or the NAIA school. And the player's name is escaping me off the top of my head. I might think of it during the next time out as Johnson retreats. Weaver, that's a dangerous pass to find Cardette. Cardette drives against Garrett. Johnson keeps his feet in bounds. Step back 3 for John Charles, and he got it. But to finish my point, there was a guy who was listed at 6 foot even. And the Wildcats had a break one way with a layup missed. And this guy, a little 6 foot guy, goes up over a defender and throws it down.
Yeah, there's some
French. Yeah. There's no question that Joe French has found his shooting stroke, his 4th 3 of the game.
Such a natural shooter. It's a beautiful shot.
Teams trading threes back and forth. Johnson blocked by Carter Hollinger. In transition, Harmon blocked on the other end by Cardette.
Well, he could have laid that back for Davis, but Davis didn't communicate.
And then a block on the other way. BCU ball.
It is up-tempo, on fire, and loud here at Moore Gymnasium.
I think that they're going to call that 3 blocks in a row. 2 for Carter Hollinger, 1 for Corbett.
You know, Chicago State just called a timeout because the Wildcats are coming for them.
57-43. I mentioned right before the last timeout that the Wildcats were on the verge of breaking this game open. And it's the 3-point shooting of Chicago State that has kept them in this game.
Yeah, no doubt. Chicago State's an awesome three-point shooting team, as we've talked about. they have just dropped two out of three, I think, right?
So for the game, they're 4 of 17, but 2 of them came in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's 6 quick points on the board for them. But Chicago State, Joe answered on one, and then now we have, I think it's our ball, right? The ball, yeah.
It's our ball.
Now on the previous play, when Zion came down the floor on a 2-on-2 break, he had Kevin Davis trailing, but Kevin did not, Zion was blocked by the defense.
Couldn't see him. That's where Kevin Davis has got to say, I'm here, Zion, I'm here. And Zion would have dropped it off. It would have been. I was expecting that as they were running down the floor. I was watching Davis come back, and I was like, he's going to go between the legs or drop this off for an easy finish, and then Zion move up with the left hand. I'm like,
Yeah.
But
But like I said, I don't think Davis let him know he was there.
In the second half so far, BCU outscoring Chicago State 18-15. So it's very close in the second half. But you got to remember that BCU went into the halftime break with a 9-point lead.
Yeah.
Currently a 13-point BCU advantage, 57-43.
Everybody gets a wild paw in the BCU huddle. Come out, win, baby, win.
We've seen Tristan Arnaud on the floor for Chicago State. Another Florida native, Pembroke Pines, down in South Florida. And a fun fact about him, he was a freshman in high school, and guess who was a senior playing on the varsity team at that high school? Scotty Barnes, currently of the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, Scotty's a pretty good player, isn't he? I'll tell you, he's really taken his game up in the NBA this year, too. He's having a great season.
Carter Hollinger, turn around, and I'll tell you what, DJ Carter Hollinger is quickly becoming one of my favorite BCU players this season. The way he attacks on defense, and then just to have that touch to finish in traffic on a turnaround jumper.
And great job by Reggie Theus coming out of the timeout. Not necessarily a set play per se, but wanted to get the ball into the open high post, and the Wildcats deliver.
Carnett, check out Weaver, a 3, and that's 3 straight triples for Chicago State that have gone down.
They're heating up. Wildcats got to get up under them and force them to put the ball on the floor and not give up the open 3.
French plays a little 1-2 with Marcus Garrett, and Reggie Theus is hot about something. KJ Davis gets it blocked by John Charles. And that'll be, maybe they'll send it to the media timeout, the 11 media timeout. With 40 seconds left, maybe they won't. But DJ Carter Hollinger is pleading his case over to the referee. It is going to be the media timeout. We'll take it with him right here on the Cat Eye Network. BCU up by 9. Well, by 13. Stay up to date with everything Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give BCU Athletics a like on Facebook and follow the Wildcats on Twitter and Instagram at BCU_athletics. For the latest on BCU men's basketball, follow at BCU Hoops on Twitter and Instagram. You don't want to miss those follows. We're posting great content from the players and coaches and behind-the-scenes stuff all the time. Davis, a spin, and in!
Great set play out of bounds for the Wildcats. Credit Reggie Theus for that 2 points by Davis.
And Davis with the beautiful spin move and with the location and timing to high point that layup. 61-46, a Wildcat lead. Uh-oh, look out. Wesley Cardette Jr. is cleared for takeoff.
Yeah, he did a nice escape dribble. Defense didn't react. No help side. Slam dunk was the result.
Cougars not out of this one by any means. Still a 13-point game. Wildcats trying to find a way to attack the zone. That's one way of doing it. Get Joe French open for three, and he's hit 4 in a row.
You make 2 on a dunk, I'll get you 3 from beyond.
After struggling early in the game, he has bounced back to go 4 of 6 from beyond the arc, including 4 in a row.
Yeah, nice answer by Joe French. Oh,
Almost a strip by McIntyre. He is so active with those hands. Cardette spins, deals, 3 on the way from John Charles, missed. Harmon the rebound, in transition McIntyre, extra pass to Davis, oh! He couldn't finish the slam, but he got fouled by John Charles.
You know, I saw that coming. You saw that coming. The only one that didn't see the foul coming was Davis, but we knew Chicago State was not going to give that up. He got fouled hard. Now let's punish him by making both these free throws.
And man, the fans in the building have responded to this energy by Bethune-Cookman out of the break of the second half. The threes, the interior presence. I mean, they were all set to give KJ Davis a huge standing ovation if he had made that dunk.
Yeah, but like I said, you know, luckily for Chicago State Cougars, the foul was not an intentional. You know, he came from behind but he made an honest play on the ball. I'll give him that.
So, last week was the first time I had heard the phrase intentional foul used instead of like the verbiage of flagrant or technical. And it's not like a legal basketball term, but it's more of like a adjudication of a foul.
Yeah, so the refs can tell if, rather than me giving up a dunk, I foul you, they can tell whether it's a legit play on the ball or if the player was just trying to stop the dunk.
Oh my goodness, that's a circus shot and an and one. I'm trying to see who that is. It's Brent Davis, transfer from the Citadel program in South Carolina. Key on that last play, that was Deshaun John Charles' 4th personal foul. So he's going to have to sit out, and he's given a hard 20 minutes for this Cougars team.
Yeah, he threw that up underneath, took the foul, got lucky it went in.
Davis of Miramar High School, 1 state championship, 2 regional championships, scored 15.4 points per game at Miramar High School.
Where is Miramar?
It's just north of Miami. So I'm shaded towards the West Coast.
We got a lot of BCU alums down there in Miami. Love Dade County, love Broward County, love Palm Beach County. Let's go BCU alums.
Yep, and then Davis played his freshman year at the Citadel. Davis for 3. Oh, he was feeling the three-point energy, but that's not really Kevin Davis' shot.
Yeah.
He can make them, though.
Yeah, he can. I would have rather had number 30 taking that one, though. Joe French.
Davis, 50% from 3 on the year, 9 of 18. Cardette. McIntyre again swallows him whole on the defensive end. Step back to create space. A 3 is swished through by Bryce Johnson. That was pretty.
Yeah, well, they are crushing the 3 this half. We talked about it pregame. We talked about it first half. Chicago State is a 3-point shooting team. They live and die by it.
5 threes on the game for Chicago State.
I got a feeling the Wildcats are going to answer right here.
McIntyre in the post. Baseline jumper, no good. Fighting for the rebound is Garrett, and he's going to get a foul called on him.
Yeah.
With the 3-point shooting acumen of Chicago State, doesn't matter how big the lead is.
8:50 to go. Come on, let's go Wildcats.
6-0 run over the last 129 by the Cougars, and that's courtesy of 2 3-pointers.
Yeah, what's even more dangerous isn't just the 6 points, it's how they got them. They're looking very comfortable back to their 3-point game.
Cardette to John Charles, who's still in the game with 4 fouls, and he gets a dime pass underneath to Deshaun Corbett.
Yeah,
who previously had only had 6 points.
Chicago State had the mismatch of Marcus, the much smaller player, on him, and they took advantage of it.
Harmon. I think Garrett called a timeout, or Theus called a timeout. We'll see if this is a 30 or a full. Full timeout. We'll take it with them. BCU up 65-56, trying to close this one out and get a nice D1 win against Chicago State. We'll be back after this on the Cat Eye Network. BCU trying to break a 2-minute scoreless streak, and that has resulted in an 8-0 run for Chicago State to pull them within 9. 56-65 the score. It was as much as a 15-point lead for BCU early on in the second half. They came out shooting hot. Joe French hit 4 threes, and slowly but surely, the Cougars have pulled this game closer as a result of their three-point shooting. They've hit 6 threes on the night, 4 of them here in the last 5 minutes or so.
Cougars show zone, but then they'll go man, try and confuse the Wildcats' offense.
Garrett rounding at Davis off it. Davis of the KJ variety out high. Drives, contact, slips, falls, ball on the floor, jump ball. I'm not sure who has the possession arrow. BCU does.
Yeah. We caught a break on that. That could have been travel when you go to the floor, but he did fall on the ball, which could have been considered a dribble, so we caught a break.
Yep.
Our ball out of bounds, but only 3 on the clock. Only 3 on the shot clock, Wildcats.
So Hulsey came in for French at the timeout, and then immediately French checks back in for McIntyre. So this is an interesting personnel set with Harmon not on the floor, but Hulsey is on the floor. What are they trying to accomplish here?
No, Zion is on the floor.
Oh, no, that's Marcus Garrett.
No, that's Zion is inbounding the ball.
Oh, he's inbounding the ball. He was screened for me. There's a couple people standing in front of us.
Right there. There you go. Oh, no.
Oh, they tried to float it to Hulsey, but it was picked off by Corbett. Running the floor is John Charles. Nice step around Davis, and it's a 10-0 run for the Cougars.
Yeah, we need some points here. Crowd's kind of let down a little bit too, but that's because of the play. The Wildcats isn't energizing them right now.
Another almost turnover. Hulsey gets it back. It was almost a strip from Davis. Zion, what can he do? Between the legs, bounce pass. Garrett pulls up and hits again.
Nice setup by Harmon to bring in the defense and find Garrett for the three-pointer. Way to deliver, Marcus Garrett. 3 via airmail.
3 players for BCU have hit from beyond the arc. French has 5, Harmon has 2, Garrett has 1. Hulsey is going to be fourth foul. He called for a hip check. As you already see Carter Hollinger up and ready to check back in, probably for Elijah Hulsey.
Yeah, see, that's a tough matchup for him out there on the perimeter. Maybe let 24 prove that he can shoot out there, back off of him, keep him at arm's length. With his height, he can still challenge the shot if he goes up out there.
It's been a tough game for Elijah Hulsey, filling the very large shoes of Dylan Robertson, who's out tonight with illness, as well as Lucas Gudavicius. Corbett turning, putting it up. No good. Offensive rebound, John Charles. Corbett in the corner. Wouldn't be surprised if Weaver took that. He decides to go to the paint, and BCU will get the ball after that ball hung on the rim and fell the wrong way.
You know, Corbett for Chicago State is very active. He's their leading rebounder, I think, averaging nine a game. Is that right? But he is really being pesky on both ends of the glass for Chicago State. Really doing a good job for them attacking the glass.
Yeah, 9 a game, and he's got 7 tonight to lead everybody. Pulse and Davis both have 6 for the Wildcats. Harmon between the legs. Step back. Didn't take the shot. Gets it back to Garrett and will reset. Double screen for Marcus Garrett. The defense fights through it. 5 to shoot. Garrett fade away. Off the front of the rim and no good.
And the 8th rebound for him.
Cardets against Davis. They're going to call Davis for a hand check, I think.
Yeah, that was clearly a hand check. Good call by the official. I mean, you know, I think we may have caught a break because they definitely had the advantage on the drive. Now we can set our defense, make them take it out of bounds. Let's see what happens next.
Well, now BCU in the single bonus with
Oh, then I take back what I just said.
To go as they've got 7 fouls. So Chicago State shooting the rest of the way.
Yeah, and we are 3 fouls away from being in the bonus.
And that was the exact opposite of the first half, where Chicago State got in foul trouble early, and we were able to punish them by getting to the line.
Yeah, they're a good free throw shooting team. 81% right now at the line.
Yep. And on the season, 76%.
76.
Cardette specifically is 81% for the free throw line as he hits that one.
Let's go Wildcats.
This Chicago State team was great at the NAIA level in the 80s. 3 NAIA tournament appearances. Their best finish in 1984. The last year they were an NAIA school. Got to these semifinals.
Yeah,
Oh. McIntyre takes a hard fall, not a foul. 3 in transition from Johnson, no good. I think the home crowd wanted a whistle there on that last Wildcat possession.
Let's see what we're going to run offensively.
Only an 8-point lead for VCU. It's been as many as 15. McIntyre kicks. Garrett lets the defender go by him, steps inside and drains it. That's a long 2.
Nice up and under shot fake, escape dribble, 2 points Wildcats. Thank you, Marcus Garrett.
10-point lead, 70-60. 5:25 to go. This is still anybody's game. Wildcats got to close this one out. Garrett does well to fight through a screen and stay on Cardette. Johnson back to Weaver, and his three-pointer is missed, and another offensive rebound for Chicago State.
Yeah, we got caught. Marcus Garrett got caught in bad position with a much bigger player, and that's why he got the offensive rebound.
VCU, by the numbers, are out-rebounding on the offensive glass 16-10, but it feels like Chicago State has gotten them in more critical situations.
Yeah, they're on a little run here. We're still up 10.
And I tell you, Cardette does not miss free throws.
No, he's an excellent free throw shooter.
Kevin Davis leads the game in minutes, 32. I don't think he's seen the bench tonight. Maybe just for a few minutes.
Yeah, I can't recall either.
Yeah,
if he did, it was for just a moment, right?
And Cardette and Corbett for Chicago State have been on the floor for half an hour.
So this 1-2-2 is
broken by Garrett. He almost gets stripped, but the ball goes right to Carter Hollinger. He's falling down and tips it to Harmon. Little bit of patience asked for here by Reggie Theus as they try to kill the game clock here, up 8. Harmon jump steps in and has his pass tipped away. Both teams say they have it, but it'll stay with the Wildcats.
7 on the shot clock.
And look who's coming back. It's John Charles, who has 4 fouls. I want to see the Wildcats go at number 2, try to get him out of the game, because he has been a nuisance on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I want to see the Wildcats get in the bonus, too, and foul some people out.
Harmon, the screen with 4 to shoot. Garrett, got to get one off. It's a contested 3. Oh my goodness, he hit it.
Wow. Ice in his veins, Marcus Garrett.
Wow. Marcus Garrett, 6'1". He had a guy who was 6'6" draped all over him and still hit that 3 from the corner.
Nice shot.
73-62, lead back to double digits, but not after Wesley Corbett has anything to say about it. Cardette has anything to say about it. He's up to 25 points to lead all scorers.
Yeah, he's a player. He is a player.
He averages 15.4 a game this season. And Cardette is only a sophomore, so I wouldn't be surprised if some high major programs are looking at him as maybe a pickup in the offseason. Step back from Harmon, in and out. Davis. I think they're going to give the ball to Chicago State. I'm not sure why.
And
as two
free
players,
throws. And free throws.
As 2 players ended up on the ground. They must have called Derek Carter Hollinger for a foul, and he's as confused about it as we are.
Yeah, I didn't see the play. I was watching the shot in the air, but they must have gotten caught and tied up underneath, and the referee said foul on the Wildcats.
Final media timeout of the game. We'll take it with them. BCU trying to hang on up 73-64, but it's free throws for the Cougars of Chicago State when we come back right here on the Cat Eye Network.
And
welcome back to more Gymnasium as Eric and I are reminiscing about a time that I did not live in, but about old NBA, about free throw shooting, and about the conversation started about the double bonus.
So all of you old NBA fans, do you remember the 3 to make 2 that the NBA used to have a rule that if you went to the line and you were fouled on a shot, you got 3 shots to make 2?
That's baffling to me as somebody who has grown up in the 21st century watching basketball and with everybody, with these super consistent free throw shooters at 70-80%.
So you could be a 66% free throw shooter, right?
Yeah.
And max out your points, right? I mean, that was a tremendous advantage. They finally did away with that.
Speaking of the double bonus, BCU with 9 fouls, 1 foul away from putting Chicago State into that double bonus, but the foul trouble is on Elijah Hulsey and Derek Carter Hollinger, both of them with 4 fouls, and that's a lot of height for Bethune-Cookman, in danger of being dismissed from the ball game.
Yeah, fouls are going to be an issue in this game for both teams. Let's go Wildcats, stay in the game.
Brent Davis, a 62% free throw shooter on the season, 1-1, got the first one to go.
Yeah, he looks relaxed and focused. This next possession with just under 4 minutes to go is a big possession for the Wildcats.
I think BCU down the stretch with a lead that is dwindling has to use the entirety of the shot clock. Got to drain time through the hourglass here.
Well, Chicago State has done a smart thing where they've run this fake 2-2-1 press to slow the Wildcats' momentum down, and it has.
Carter Hollinger stood on the floor with 4 fouls. Harmon around a double screen, up and under, swatted away, but it comes right to Hollinger, who puts it up and in. A little bit of a fortuitous bounce.
Fortuitous is the right word. Lucky is another word.
Yeah. So that was Brent Davis on the rejection of the Zion Harmon layup. He's had 2 layups blocked tonight, Zion.
Yeah, he's tried to get some scoops underneath some bigger players, and they've been caught.
Corbett backing down a defender, and that's the end for Derek Carter-Hollinger.
You know, if we had a referee's appeals court, I would be willing to represent Derek Hollinger in court on that one. I agree with his appeal that it was not a solid foul. But referee has the whistle. It's what they say, and certainly he called it.
So the scoreboard here at Moore Gymnasium just gave Derek Carter-Hollinger his 4th foul. My stat sheet in front of me says that he should be at 5 fouls, but he's still on the floor. So maybe our stats were wrong and he only had 3 fouls.
Yeah, and that's okay. We're happy with that.
But now my point stands that BCU's got to be very careful as Chicago State goes 1 of 2 from the line. 75-66, BCU hanging on. 3 minutes to go and counting.
Bullet dodged on those 2 free throws. He missed both.
Yeah. Harmon is their magic in numero uno's legs and arms right now. He is double teamed. He's trapped. He scoops under. He finds a man in the corner. It's McIntyre. Garrett to the middle. He's going to be tripped up and fouled. And I think they're going to call that not in the act of shooting. No, he's going to go to the line.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Chicago State really showed a lot of hustle and smarts there on their scramble, but a better play by Marcus Garrett to draw the foul and get to the free throw line.
And how about Zion Harmon? He was trapped without a step, but he used 1 jump, and before he landed, split 2 defenders and got the ball cross court to Damani McIntyre.
No, your first instinct may be right. I don't think they're going to give him free throws here, but they're talking about it right now.
And Joe French set to come back on. We don't know what his status is after he took a pretty hard fall early in the second half. However, the crucial thing is whether he's getting shots or not, that foul was on Deshaun John Charles, and he is gone. That's his 5th foul.
Yeah, so the referees are going to the replay to make the final decision whether it is a shooting foul or whether it's a common foul and ball out of bounds.
And this is big because it would be Garrett at the line, who is a 66% free throw shooter.
Where is Chicago State's team fouls this half?
They have 4 team fouls.
I don't know if the scoreboard matches the official game statistics is what I'm saying, because that should have at least put them at 5th and maybe even the 6th team foul if I'm correct.
Well, I can look. Let me scroll through here. Personal fouls 5 to 10, so that is their 5th team foul. Yeah, the board only has them at 4, so yeah. You are correct. But still, BCU not close to that bonus.
Yeah, still a ways away, right? But we need to get there.
Couple of trends. Chicago State just 1 for 5 from the floor in their last 5 attempts. Marcus Garrett and Derek Carter-Hollinger hot. Garrett 4 for his last 5. Carter-Hollinger 3 for his last 4. Joe French 5 of his last 6 from 3.
And he just checked back into the game for Zion Harmon. Now we're gaining a little bit of rebounding and maybe jump shooting, but I'm a little worried about the Wildcats handling Chicago State's pressure now with Zion out of the game.
Well, on the offensive side, with Harmon out, I think it's going to be Marcus Garrett to run the point, as he did for most of last year. So he has experience in that regard. But you're right, on the defensive end, it does leave us a little bit undersized, especially in the front court.
Yeah, let's see. Reggie's still in the timeout. Let's see what he's drawing up here.
I am interested to see. He leaves Carter-Hollinger in with 4 fouls. Maybe if DJ fouls out, then he's going to go back to Halsey, because Halsey has 4 fouls as well.
Let's see, what was the official call? Was it free throws or common foul?
Nope, it's a common foul, baseline in for the Wildcats.
All right, 20 seconds on the clock. Let's run a good inbounds play. Let's see what we can get.
2:39 to go in the ball game. Damani McIntyre, the gunner. Nobody open. Now he floats it all the way back for Davis. KJ to Marcus, and this with the exception of DJ Carter-Hollinger, this looks like very much a lineup that played the most of last year from ECU. Garrett through the lane and to the line he goes.
There's that 6-team foul.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm psychic.
So Garrett will go to the line now, a 66% free throw shooter on the season, 16 of 24. The main thing, discourse-wise, that I heard with Zion Harmon coming in and taking a starting job a couple games into the season is how is he and Marcus Garrett going to work together? Because Garrett loves to have the ball. He's the primary ball handler for this team last year. And how would he fare, giving up that primary ball handler role? And it looks like it's worked out for the most part.
Hey, with Zion Harmon on the floor and Garrett moving to the 2, he gets to shoot the ball a little more. I'm sure he's okay with that.
11-point lead for BCU. Step back, 3 on the way, no. Davis skies for the board and it hangs onto it. And he finds the outlet pass to Marcus Garrett as well. Harmon only spent about 30 seconds on the bench. He's back in.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was just a short rest.
That's probably just personnel shuffling more than anything. His defender falls down, but it was a good switch by Corbett to get onto him. Flipped up and in from Marcus Garrett.
Brilliant play by Marcus Garrett to avoid the charge and get the floating 2 to go.
And MG3 starting to run things here late, up to 17 points. That was a block from Davis on the outside. Both BCU players were calling for a timeout, but they're going to get a tie-up, and the possession arrow belongs to Chicago State.
Well, not only did we not get the timeout that they were clearly screaming for while he was on the floor with clear possession, they called a delay of game on us as well.
Wow. Cadet has led this game with passion. 25 points for the sophomore. He hands it off. Johnson, corner 3, swish.
See, now that 3 should have never happened because we called timeout. We could have organized something. Reggie called the timeout, but we didn't get it.
Well, it's water under bridge now. You got to continue playing, and you're up by 10, 1:24 to go. You should be able to see it out from here, because if it's 30 seconds of possession, that's only 3 possessions, and you should have 2 of them.
Yes, no doubt about that. But they're going to come out. Chicago State right now is going to come out and apply full court pressure. I don't know if it's going to be the soft pressure that they've been using to slow us down, or if it's going to be an all-out press.
I think it's going to be closer to that hard press, trying to force a turnover, try and get an extra possession, because down 10 with only 3 possessions to go in the game if it all plays out.
And then how are we going to react when and if we do break the press without a turnover? Do we go to the bucket, or do we pull it back out and run the clock?
I think, well, if you break the press early, say 3 or 4 seconds in, I think you run the clock. If it takes 9 or 10 seconds to get the ball over the half-court line, maybe then you're looking at something towards the basket. Garrett almost coughs it up, tries to stay with it. Steal from Davis and Cardette, and Cardette lays it in. Full court pressure again. This time, Carter-Hollinger finds the open Garrett in the corner. French, this would ice it. Yes, sir, he does.
Joe French to the rescue.
1 minute left. 3, bricks it. Scramble for the offensive rebound. It's on the floor. If
Cougar
this is
ball.
a tie-up, it should be BCU ball.
Excuse me, I meant to say Wildcat ball.
Oh, it's the clash of the cats here in the Moore Gymnasium tonight. The Wildcats and the Cougars. BCU ball off the tie-up, which
I really did mean Wildcat ball. I knew it was our ball. Excuse me, audience. Please forgive my Cougar mistake.
Well, we can't see the possession arrow from where we are, so. 52 seconds to go. 11-point lead for BCU. That Joe French 3 may have just iced it. It was his 6th of the game. Can they get the ball to the front court? Yes. Now do they use the clock? French, I know he was thinking about shooting that, but he dribbles it back to half court and forces the defense to come to Marcus Garrett and foul and send him to the line.
Are we in the bonus?
We are in the bonus, yes. The single bonus, so it'll be a 1+1.
Yeah, yeah. And the possession arrow is
Chicago State's.
Yeah.
So we want to avoid tie-ups at all costs because that would give an extra possession to the Cougars. Garrett at the line. 3 of 4 from the charity stripe this evening. Coming up for Bethune-Cookman, it's a long old road trip.
And he missed the front end.
Yeah, they go to North Florida and then a trip to the Lone Star State, first to Dallas to play Incarnate Word of the Southland Conference. Step back three or jumper from Weaver, no good. Second chance opportunity for Corbett, he missed it. And I think Damani McIntyre stepped on the baseline as he was trying to dribble out of traffic.
No. No, so what? So
yeah, he did.
No.
They called.
It's the Wildcats' ball. What they're calling is that the Cougar defender was out of bounds and touched the ball. He just got a little touch of the ball, but he was out of bounds.
The hey, hey, goodbye chant comes from the BCU student section, bolstered by what looks like the entirety of the Bethune-Cookman volleyball team who was here tonight to support Aaliyah Dallas getting her senior day recognition at halftime.
So like the women's game earlier tonight, the only way Chicago State can come back with this little time is to score the touchdown, onside kick, and get another possession, Hail Mary to the end zone. But they don't have that option, I've heard.
I don't think that is an option on the hardwood. Marcus Garrett with a free throw.
There we go. So he missed the front end of the last one. Here he hits, gives us a nice little cushion.
83 points for Bethune-Cookman, which ties their season best, which was a victory over Trinity Baptist that we were here for a couple of weeks ago. And to put now 84 points on a Division I team, it's a very good offensive performance, specifically in the second half.
I got to tell you, this is a nice quality win. We had a lot of Wildcats contribute. The freshman, Pulse, really did a nice job in the minutes he had. Obviously, we had McIntyre play his game so well where he pressures and defends so well. We had Carter play so well. Obviously, Zion, Marcus Garrett, Davis had a nice game. Really good to see our Wildcats take care of the home court.
And full credit to Gerald Gillian and the Chicago State Cougars. They did not come to here to roll over. They came here to play. They gave us a game, and especially in the second half, BC only has scored 2 more points in the second half than the Chicago State has. So it was very close for a lot of it. BCU with most of the second half with the lead, and they kind of thought they were going to break it open, but Chicago State hit a lot of threes. They stayed in the game with some hot shooting, but BCU closed it out, and this is going to be, a good quality win at home before they go on the road.
Where is how many turnovers do the Wildcats have?
We have 10 turnovers, and Chicago State has 13 turnovers. So low turnover game, high quality offense on both sides.
Yeah. Really good job of taking care of the ball. That's what Reggie Theus wants. That's what he emphasizes, being a former ball handler himself, is let's not turn it over.
Shot clock off, 20 seconds left. Look for a quick shot here from Chicago State. BCU will let Weaver go to the basket. And a quick foul as we continue on with 16 seconds left to go, and Garrett going back to the free throw line.
Yeah, it becomes a free throw shooting contest. Let's get Marcus to the line. Let's make them both. Let's not let that strategy work for the Cougars. Let's make them both, punish them by making both free throws, Marcus.
I think even if he misses both here, I don't think Chicago State will foul again with 16 seconds left. And the Wildcats up by 11, but now they're up by 12. Once again, a trip to North Florida in 9 days' time for the Wildcats. First of a home-and-home series in the month of December with the Ospreys. Second of which is right here on the 22nd. Get you a little holiday basketball action right before Christmas. And a timeout. See, this to me, and I'm going to get on a soapbox here for a little bit and rant. This to me, I don't get. You're down by 14. with 14 seconds to go. You're not going to win the game. Why are you calling a timeout?
The only way to explain it is that coaches claim, every coach who calls a timeout in this situation claims that they are practicing for the next game. If it did matter, they're getting the team to perform and execute a play that he's drawing up right now to use in the future. That's the excuse. Whether it's legitimate or not, I'll leave it up to you and the audience.
So we have not seen a large part of the Wildcat team tonight. Gudavicius and Robertson obviously out with illness. Bounce pass to break the double team. Johnson gets it tapped out of bounds by Carter Hollinger. But we have not seen Jason Matthews, Kwan, Deshaun Dyson, Simeon Womack, and James Henderson all did not feature for the Wildcats tonight.
Oh,
underneath and a block for good measure with 3 seconds to go. The jump ball is going to give the ball to the Cougars. Coming up for Chicago State, a mammoth road trip. They got one home game in 3 days' time against Southern Indiana, and then a massive road trip. 7 games in a row on the road in this month of December. But BCU, in front of a raucous home crowd here at Moore Gymnasium, gets the W, 86-73, and puts on their best offensive performance of the season. Here are your scoring totals. First, for Chicago State, Cardette led all scorers with 27, had a fantastic game. Weaver had 14, Johnson had 12, Corbett had 8, John Charles fouled out and had 7, Davis had 5. Green, Arnaud, Cachul, and Miran played but did not score. And Davis and Marcus Garrett both had 21 from Bethune-Cookman, half of BCU's points from KJ Davis and Marcus Garrett. French had 18 on 6 of 13 shooting, 6 of 8 from 3, which is just ridiculous. Harmon had 15, Carter Hollinger 8, Halsey 3. McIntyre was the only player for BCU that played and did not score. 11 assists for BCU tonight, as Eric points out to me. That's under their season average, though. They averaged 12.7 a game. But they were playing a lot of ISO ball against the zone.
And they had to. That's what I wanted to point out, that the assists were down because of the way Chicago State played defense. They forced the Wildcats into taking control of the game one-on-one. We took it to the hoop, and it benefited us. What I like most about this game is the way the Wildcats displayed Coach Reggie Thea's toughness. He was a tough player when he played in college, in the pros, and overseas, and his team is reflecting that personality here tonight.
And a shout out to Damani McIntyre. He didn't score, but he did lead the Wildcats in both assists with 4 and steals with 3. That'll do it for us here from Moore Gymnasium. If you've stuck with us since 5:30 in the afternoon, first game of our doubleheader, thank you so much for spending your Thursday evening with us here in December. For Eric Davis and our entire Cat Eye Network crew here at Moore Gymnasium, my name is Michael Turillo. Thank you so much for watching, and we will be back on the 22nd as BCU men's basketball takes on North Florida right here at Moore Gymnasium. Thank you for watching BCU basketball on the Cat Eye Network, and have a very pleasant good evening.